Alrighty, so I'm making a start on the duck. The actual kit instructions is not a great deal to it, 10 steps, but I'm using Eduard's photo etch set for it, and hang on, let me get the proper packing. So it's there it is, so 49780 I think would be the number for it. I haven't done an engineering course, but I wish I had, because this is just doing my head in. This is insane. It's all over the place. I don't like photo etch at the best of times, but the way they've written this up is all over the shop. So you have, alright, they got 1 of 6, 2 of 6, 3 of 6, 4 of 6, 5 of 6, 6 of 6. So well, what I did, I started with the photo etch seat, which is not even in the kit. There's 2 seats in the kit, but where they're showing this seat going is up the top, but the actual kit, I don't think, have I not? No, it's not there. So yeah, is it an omission from? It should be there, I'm guessing, but so I've done it. It's a bit messy. I'm shite at soldering at the curved bit. So when you fold it up, so it's a flat piece, obviously, and you fold it up, and I've soldered that piece around the front, but I might need to clean up a bit more yet. But yeah, I'm actually I would say this is the first serious go. I kept pushing myself to finish it because I've attempted soldering before and just doesn't work, so I put it away and use CA glue, but I got there eventually. But yeah, a bit messy, but anyway, I digress. So with this seat, I still have to add, you got to use a piece of plastic rod you cut yourself, and I've got a bit more to go on it. So that will make 3 seats that go in the aircraft. Go back here. I just did that first because I knew I was going to have issues with it, so I thought, let's start the ball rolling with something difficult. Why not? Anyway, so the normal thing I get with you're taking detail off the instrument panel, that sort of thing, but and then by the looks of it, we got the foot pedals are replaced with photo etch, and instrument panels on the fuselage sidewalls, which will be those. So there's your interior green colour. I'll have to try and see. I've got a few interior greens, see which one's closest to that. No doubt it won't be exact, but near enough's good enough for me. Yeah, and then you're adding a whole heap of levers and whatnot. Yeah, so that's pilot seat. To me anyway, it seems all over the shop. Like, right here we're doing the pilot. No, that's not the pilot seat, that's the seat in the bottom. I missed that step, did I? I'm confusing myself. Ah, there, sorry, there it is there. So this seat's on the lower deck, which is included as a kit part, but I'll be making that, I believe. This contraption is going to be the seat and the bottom. I don't know, just don't look right to me, but I'll do what they say. So on that, because I'm so confused of all this, if you go to Eduard's website, their actual website, and type in 148, the dark J2F-5 dark, you'll get pictures of the parts in position. So I'm using that to help myself work out what's going on, because honestly, without the pictures on their website, I'd be seriously struggling, because it's just, I don't know, like I said, I don't like photo etch at the best of times, but this is really confusing to myself. Anyway, so I'm going to keep using their pictures to work out how it's all going. But yeah, so then I'll start coming back to these instructions and working out. But some parts are replaced, and like there's parts going in that aren't even in the kit, so that didn't help. Alright, so a lot of, as I mentioned, a lot of detail has to be removed off some parts. This rear bulkhead, which is this one, C4, had all this detail on it, plastic detail, that I cut all that off, and then you have to cut out the hole for that, so the brass section. It's a bit messy at the back, but you're only going to see from the front on. So I used old, not my good ones, some old Tamiya ones, side cutters, to get the chunky plastic off, and I use that. The sanding drum, then glued that brass on. That brass, on my part, was a bit larger than the plastic bit, and I don't think it's going to fit. It would have fit into the fuselage properly, because it sits flush like that. So I sanded that down as well. So I've made up that bottom chair. If that's what it is, it don't look like much of a chair to me, but hey ho, that's what they said to do. The actual plastic chair looks like a chair. Where else did I have to cut? Oh, so these foot pedals were a bloody nightmare. I just don't get along with photo etch. That where that brass section glues, the other side of that had a whole heap of raised detail, which was that one. You had to cut all the pedals off and all the raised detail on the top as well. Same, I cut it off those old side cutters and sanded it down, cleaned it up. Again, you won't, by the time I put the instrument panel sits on front of that yet, so you won't see much. And I couldn't, where is it, the foot pedals, I wanted them, where we at? That's why I hate these instructions. They don't go from one to, like, they don't go along with the model in my books. Where is it? Here. The foot pedals, they want to bend the inside of them. I couldn't do that. I broke one trying to do it. I'd love to sit down and watch the master at work who can do it like they say. It's bloody does my head in. So where I've marked red on there, that detail has to be removed to make way for those these side panels. So I probably might do that shortly. Just doing bits here and there at the moment. I'm not following any particular instructions at the moment. So that was the foot pedals. You had to use plastic rod, so I had, it's 1 mil diameter, which I have these packs I buy at all the assorted sizes, but if you wanted to, you could just use stretch sprue too, as long as you keep it straight. Yeah, so it's, it doesn't look much, but I've been at it for ages. So I'm removing all the ribbed detail that these Eduard instructions call out for. I still not to sand that down, get the scratches out yet. But to get rid of them, I was using this. This is Master Tools little chisel. Just push it; they come off pretty easy. You just gently push along those ribs. The thicker spine one there, I just trimmed it out with my cutters, and then use round grinding stone to get it down close, and then I'm just using a bit of sandpaper to get in and bits of sponge to try and polish it out. So that's how I'm tackling that. I've put the non-painted photo etch on this side, but I'm starting to think it'd be easier. So this is the coloured piece that goes in now. On Eduard's website, I told you I'm looking at the photo etch, how it goes in the aircraft. In all their images, there is no painted photo etch. It's all just brass like that. So I don't know why they show that, and then you got the painted here. I'm starting to think it'd be just easy for me to put this in, and all the other parts that still need to go in there, and just paint it up. That way my interior green will match, because the left side, all these levers still need to go in, and a lot of them, well, some are painted and some aren't. So all that levers and the handles, that's all them. They're not painted. That part is got to go on there as well. That's not painted, but it should be. I would imagine it would need to be painted. It wouldn't be bare metal, and so forth. So I might paint these on there, and then hand paint in the levers might be easier. But not obviously the instrument, our main instrument panel, I'll leave that alone, but in the harnesses if I can. But see what happens when you bend them. When you bend Eduard's coloured photo etch harnesses, a lot of the time the paint just peels off, chips away. So see what happens there. So I might just do that. Might save myself a bit of time. Alright, I'm finally making some progress. So I've finished the fuselage halves, the photo etch required. I am going to just paint it. I'm going to attempt to mask off some of this area here with the wheel, some of that black area. I'll just try and put a bit of Tamiya tape over it, as with the instrumentation on top of there. I can put a strip of Tamiya tape over that, spray the whole lot, paint it interior green, and then I need to paint in the levers. It's just a lot easier for myself. I'm starting to clean up instrument panel. So the bottom section, there's a whole heap of plastic on it. I cut that off because this piece is totally different shape. The top piece is the right shape, but that piece, the plastic stuck out a lot further, so I just took the whole lot off. So that can be, I'll paint that up, then glue on all that. I've glued this section together, but when I did it, when I tried to put the top piece as a slot that groove goes into, but it sort of didn't really want to sit there. So what I did was I sat it in position in here and then ran some glue extra thin in there, and then I just let it sit in there to set, because when I first sat it in there, it was all totally out of whack. You can see I've put that seat in, the yoke, so it looks like both operators, the pilot and the guy in the rear, can operate the aircraft. I will paint, even though it's the same colour, I'll paint that separate, it'll be easier, glue that bit in. There was this piece here, that back section, bulkhead, there's a seat type thing that goes in there. I was going to put it in, but when I looked at Eduard's pictures of their photo etching position, it's not in there, so I don't know if this one that they've supplied is replacing that. It's in a totally different spot, but perhaps that is incorrect and that's right, I don't know. This section here, so there's a so we got, so this sits in front of the rear section, so it'll plug in here. I need to drill those holes out because the pegs are too big, but again, this is a part you need to modify. So I had a plastic box on top, I cut that off, and that created a hole in the middle there, you can see, and then it's got channel around it that needs to be filled in. So I've used some plastic card roughly, and that should be just about dry, and then I'll come in with CA glue to finish off those gaps and then sand it flush again. I didn't want to use CA glue because that, where the centerpiece, that was a hole, it was a bit much for CA glue, and just to make it a bit less CA glue so it'll set quicker. Smooth that off, and then there's three more photo etch boxes. These ones, I think these smaller ones will go on there, and then that's on the top, and then on the underside there's another two pieces that go on, which was them ones, so the backing plate and then the one on the front face plate. Then it's just about done. I think I've still got to put in a couple of foot pedals, photo etch foot pedals, which were these ones, 51 or 52. I don't see them. Where is it? So that they go in front of the rear seat, so I need to put them in, and then I can start painting it up. So I'm finally making headway with all this photo etch, but it's still, the way they've done these instructions just doesn't follow with the instructions of the model kit, and just, I don't know, confused the hell out of me. It's could have been laid out better, I believe, but anyway. Yeah, so I still can't understand why some of it's painted, some of it's not. Like that's got instrumentation or something on it. That could have been a colour part as well, but so yeah, just easier for myself, I'll just paint it. Alright, so I'll start moving on. all painted up, so where I masked worked out alright. I kept the area that I wanted to, so it just needs a wash. I'm almost done here. Did I mention I hate photo etch, especially colour harnesses? As soon as you bend them, paint breaks, chips, and because they're dual layer, you got the bottom wide belt and the bit on top. As soon as you bend it, top one pings off. You can't anneal it because it'll burn the paint off, so it's stiff to bend, so they look awkward, and that's how they're going to stay, because any more effort and they just keep breaking off. There's 4 underneath, so I guess 2 people can sit in the bottom section. I've done a little bit of dry brushing with some natural metal where the foot pedal area are and the feet scuff the floor. Again, that needs a wash. I'm almost done this thing. Tiny bits of photo etch on it. It's just I put it on, but honestly, give me a Aries resin cockpit any day over this bloody photo etch, because at least you can just paint the details in, especially the harnesses, and it looks more natural. That doesn't look natural to me. It looks too stiff and it looks too new. I know you can give it a wash, but that still doesn't really change the fact that it looks like cardboard. So I've got to put the top dials. I've done the bottom ones and it's dried. I don't know if that's showing up, but it's got a shine to it. So I've put, if you use this, I'll just use a toothpick and put it inside the dials. When it dries, it looks like glass. So I'll do that and glue these 2 parts in, and then that's after I give it a wash and I can put that together. And finally, the nightmare of the photo etch cockpit is over. Okay, I only gave it a light wash. I used Tamir's dark brown panel line accent colour, and as the usual thing when you put a aircraft together, most of it is not going to be seen. This section didn't need any glue to put in. It's a really firm fit, so it's not going to move. I'm doing this on a base in water, so in theory I don't need the tail wheel, but I'm putting it in just in case, to see to make sure down the track that I turn around and say, oh, I should have put that in. If it gets in the way, if it all goes to plan, I guess I just cut it off, but for now I just put it in. So this kit, because I'm doing it in water, obviously I want the wheels up. This kit does not show you that option. It just shows you with the wheels down, extended. So figured that all I need to do, I'll put the wheel together. The wheel should just sit there, but I'll have to make sure like that it's squared up properly on the hull, being a float plane. But when that goes on, there's a gap there, or should be the panel of the gear door closing, which is, so when they have you build the undercarriage, there's that door there, it's D21, which is this piece. So I'll have to just align it to the fuselage, but when you do that, there's a so it needs to be flush there, and when you do that, there's a gap underneath. But again, because I'm having it in water, you won't see that, but you could just fill that with plastic card anyway, but I shouldn't need to, because as mentioned, it's going to be in water. So, and I've also been putting the wings together. That wing, and I've done the lower ones. I haven't tried fitting or anything yet, but I don't know which one's which now. That'll be this side. That's gonna need a bit of a cleaner. Oh no, it might be right. It's a very tight fit, so be careful there not to break anything. And then that'll be on top, so you can see it's got a pretty decent wingspan on it in 1/48 scale. So now that I've done that 2 days or 3 days I've spent doing this cockpit with that bloody photo etch, that's all done. Shouldn't be too much now getting the rest of it together. There's still some photo etch, not a lot though, to go on the hull, the main float, bits and pieces here and there on mainly on the floats, I think, and the engine, the harnesses, wiring harnesses on the engine, and a couple other pieces. Oh, and there was a piece, where did I put there? Piece of photo etch on that intake area, which you have to bend the grills back. Yeah, so I'm turning a corner for my sanity. Alright, I've got the fuselage glued. I'm just doing some things here. I've realised that this kit is a one-piece canopy, so my plan using the pilot figure, if I want him boarding, I have to cut the canopy. I'm not real keen because the framework is pretty thin. I mean, I've done it a few times over the years, but it's that's nerve-wracking stuff, because you get that wrong, that's it. That's gone. No more canopy. You can buy another kit. And also the canopy it's not a width-wise, doesn't fit properly, even though the fuselage is together. Like the tape, I did have a bit of issue here, close up there, so I've pulled it in and used tape to hold it while it glue sets, because just to get the best fit possible. But it's still got a bit of a step, which is, you can sand the grey styrene down to match alright. But so I'm just contemplating other options. I was thinking maybe, because the don't mind what I've done here, I've glued his legs to the torso, so it comes, each leg is separate, the torso is one piece, and you got the arms one piece, etc. I'm just trying, I don't want to glue the arm yet because I might have to position it differently, so I'm just using a bit of white tack. I don't think it'll work great anyway. Like I said when I first talked about doing this, I don't know how, if it would incorporate, because the actual aircraft does have, that's the boarding step, I think, that the flap pushes in and your foot goes there. I don't believe the height matches anyway, so if his bottom foot's in there, it's too high. I might reach the top of the chair, but he wouldn't, I don't think, naturally he wouldn't be stepping that way to get into the cockpit. The other side might work. That's possible, I guess, but I don't really want to cut the canopy, so I was thinking maybe the wheel, possibly. He's a theory. He's just been dropped off by a boat and he's boarding the aircraft, and he could stand. He's climbing up. That'll work. His leg, straight leg, touches the tire, and his the other leg's hopping onto the wing. But I've got to work out if that arm, if that'll work. That's a possibility. Or I don't have him at all, but sort of changes the concept of having it in water. If I don't have any figure in the water, then you'd have to really look at why is it in the water. Or you could do something like out of view. You got a piece of rope tied out or something that it's like suggesting it's tied up to a jetty. So these are just musings of a madman at the moment, how I'm going to approach it. But either way, I'm going to have to clean up that grey styrene to get a better fit with the canopy. Yeah, just the thought of cutting it. If it was a wider canopy, like the frame was wider, that if you cut it in the half, you still had frame either side. But if I cut, you have to cut it on one side, so you'd have to cut it behind the windscreen, and then that piece of canopy has no frame on the front, so you could use plastic cards. It's a lot of work. Yeah, so for now, what I'm going to do is I'm calling it quits for this for now. I need to keep working on my 135 Waffentrager I'm doing. I've still got heaps to go on that. That's got like, I'm using metal tracks, and that they take forever to put together, so I've got a whole heap working on that. And I sort of want to put this aside and just think about it. Sometimes I find if you have a break from something, when you come back, things seem more clearer. It's like, oh well, yeah, do it that way. But if you keep continually working, you sort of get in a, I don't know, your mind doesn't it? It gets in the mind frame of, oh, I'll do this, and then, but if you have a break from it, things become a bit more, oh yeah, that might work. So yeah, I'll think it over how I'm going to approach it.